flipped up. Okay, I'm just going to go to my book to get this correctly. So, let's see, 89. Okay, 89. So Saturn hits the midheaven. Saturn is 89, 90 up top. Yeah, okay. Then, yeah, okay. So here's, it would have been 97, 98. 97, 98, Saturn hit her, opposed the sign, went to the midheaven. I jumped. These two dates should be out more. Okay. So again, I might messed up on this chart, so on this graph, so I'm sorry about that. But like when you're going through, you'll see it's making sense. It was going along. We had 89, 93, 97. When I went up to here, I jumped to 28, and I'm out 30 years. So I said, oh, something's wrong. It should have been out more, and I missed the ones that are there. I may have put them in and forgot to click them on somewhere. It's a lot of nerdy detail doing this in Photoshop. 97. So 97 opposed to Sun. So by 97, she's in it. She's not happy. Not going on. Nothing going the way she wants to go. So 97 was probably the time where the kids would have probably been grown up or being teenagers or growing up or some way in that point. And the husband's probably in his own world. She's feeling isolated and supported. This isn't, I'm not getting anything from this. So that very likely, I'm imagining, I don't know for sure, I would be asking her rather than telling her, but we're working with a chart without knowing. I know something. I have none of the dates. I just know I have a few memories that I remember about the person, and I'm spilling them over in it. But that's going to be her big identity crisis, like when she was 9 or 10 years old, 10 or 11 years old, just trying to run into puberty. Here she's been in the family. Who am I now? This is the family. This is it. For her, family would be, her memory of family would be kind of restrictive and gross. Her sense of being needed and trying to help her to make it better, she would shine at that. But she would feel isolated with Saturn going on. So that would have been a really critical time, 97, 98. And yeah, so the next one, they get back to the right schedule. Saturn conjuncts the moon in 2000, and it builds up to the IC. So it goes through her identity crisis. Who am I? What am I doing? This time when she should be studying and learning and growing. And Saturn hits the IC. Sorry, I'll just pull this up a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to make it smaller. Pull it up. Okay, so Saturn hits the IC in 2004. So once again, second time hitting the IC. She knows, first time she knew she didn't want to be at home. This time she knows she can't just sit there. She's a far away from career. She's trying to, the family's probably finishing, the family's probably growing up, and she's maybe thinking, what am I doing here? Where am I going? So if the ascendant didn't end the marriage, she would have known it was going to be. She would have got more isolated. She may have held into a difficult thing. But by 2004, at the IC, she knows what she doesn't want. It's got to change. She's changing her world during this time. She's still motivated by mom. Maybe parents had difficulty. Maybe kids are growing. Maybe it was kids growing up. Different things. All the whole time she's maintaining her career around this. But it was shortly after, sometime after 2004. Well, probably it was more. 6, 7, 11, 12. Yeah, okay. So by the time Saturn conjunct her Sun, 12, around here, Saturn conjunct the Sun, it's about the time she came into astrology. She started coming. She's very established. She's well known. She married again somewhere in this period. So she left her husband somewhere along here, maybe at the IC, maybe at the ascendant or the IC. And the 8-year graph, or if we did the 8-year graph for a lifetime, we begin to see what other things come in to complicate these issues. But then she's not a person that would be alone, do well be alone, so she would naturally gravitate to someone else. Someone else came in and it was a very nice relationship and she started aligning with that. Then she had to deal with the ex, the family, and the new relationship and how to integrate that. So you know, with the Pluto moon and the Saturn moon, that wasn't easy, but she would have done it. I remember, but her coming in and coming to the class and really loving the class and glad to be there. She was always busy. Was just so relieved to be able to get an evening where she could come and just and follow her ideas. But also during that time period, her mother was getting sick and dying, and she was always having to be called to go help and go support and be supportive around it. And there were always family issues making demands around it. But this was a Saturn going over the Sun. Right now, it's up on the midheaven, a peak of status and career. You got to get angry with the Saturn. At least I may be wrong with the things I'm thinking, but I've got a general texture. I'm just getting closer to this to get a sense of where she is. Now, so along here somewhere, where Saturn was going maybe over her Sun in, no, it would have been after that. So might have been as Saturn returned, she may have come up to somewhere in here as Saturn went above the horizon. She had the two places. They got the place in the southern states and here, and they were trying to go in both places, but for a while, family kept making demands, and it was difficult for her to get down there for very long, for them to be down there for the whole winter. So that was challenging. It took a few years of hard work for eventually. Now she's been regularly, consistently. Saturn's on the midheaven, being able to be here during the work during the spring, summer, fall, taking the winter off, being in the south, and in a dream place. So she has the two worlds, and she's set up to maintain that. But the world doesn't stop me just because she's set up. But she's in the two worlds. The family changed. The kids are growing up. Maybe grandkids are coming in. Mom died. But I don't know the other situation. But it took a long time for Mom to die. But she's set up with it by Saturn. She's set up with career. Her strength is around career, maintaining her status, keeping control of things, not necessarily fitting in. I do know the relationship we had was with, I think, an older person, but it was someone who was very supportive of her, whom they both thought the same and related to each other very easily. So she is very at peace in that relationship. And it was very distinct from the family and the kids she had to bring up. Okay. By the time you get to extended families, nothing's ever exactly easy. And often Pluto Saturn moon can be extended family scenarios or single parent scenarios. But she didn't abandon anyone. She held in for everyone, even though how much they deserved or not is another thing. For her, they deserved it. She held in for them. But the main thing we're seeing now is Saturn's up on the midheaven. She's kind of the peak of status and gonna go extending. So she's like, okay, 55, 2005. So she's approaching retirement age. She's past the Saturn return. She's come up to, does she take the retirement? You know, so Saturn's coming, she's got things set up to be in two places, but would she take the retirement? Would you, like the potential is maybe the relationship is let's just stay in the south all the time, but she wouldn't want to let go of her family. At the same time, she's got Saturn's up high. She's got 6, 7, 8 more years of being able to work at what she wants and making good money. This is her peak time. She could be really accomplished. It's not, so this is a puzzle. Does she want to get out? Does she want to go on? Does she want to add something else? But really, she's built up her reputation, what she is. She's got her strength. It's not where her strength is, not where her weakness is. So she shouldn't be giving up her strength for family and other demands. Okay, this is the puzzle I have from the Saturn. How are we for time? Yeah, okay, good. So now, you can work the Saturn and watch it going around and just estimate at 15, at 21, at 22, and go around it like this. I partly did a bit of both, especially since I had it all calculated properly, but it just was writing it down. I made the typos. Okay, so I'm going to pull this down. We're going to pull up the year graph. Now, this is a standard 8-year graph we're using, but I want to show you something. I showed it to you, I believe, last week. But this is the report that you can make inside Matrix. inside the search things, and it gives the outer planets, Saturn and out, and I've set it up for 100 years, and it does it in a few seconds for you. So it gives you all the things we calculate for the 8-year graph. So we look from 2015, Uranus to Venus, Uranus conjunct the ascendant. But the only difficulty with this printout is it puts the outer planet, Uranus opposed Neptune, it puts in other aspects that we don't use. So I just highlight the ones that are active and and leave the ones that aren't active, not lit up. So, okay, so this you can get in a few seconds. So at some point, if you don't have time to do the 8-year graph, you can use these for your 8-year graph. It don't include all the major ones that we're talking about. So I just wanted to show you that again. Let's put this aside. I use these 8-year graphs for years. I just handmade them without computer. I just looked at this little sheet and the monthly ephemeris, the first of each month, and I would work that, and I'd look at that and I'd directly write them onto here. I could do this quite fast. When I have to look it up and print it out and read off the printout, make the lines and do it in the graph, it takes a little longer. But if you're just drawing the sheet, you take the sheet and just draw these lines in and handwrite them in, it doesn't take all that long. And you still get the sense of it. It may get crowded up. When it gets crowded up, it's because things are crowding up in their life. But the reason why we're only taking the outer planets and we're taking them into the Moon, Venus, Mercury, Sun, Mars, and sometimes you can put in Jupiter, Saturn. I don't tend to put in Jupiter, Saturn, because they're more generalized. They're there, but they'd be harder to talk to. Each person be different. These ones, they're solidly there, and each person's going to know they're happening, and they're the texture someone's navigating through. So we have Saturn sitting right high. Okay. Now we went back 4 years, so that would have been back to about when Saturn was the Saturn return. Actually, where are we here?